Hey guys, welcome to the fourth episode of A Fool You a Rocker. This is a podcast about listening to metal while being brown in the hood, specifically in Mid-City, Koreatown, Los Angeles, California.
K-Town.
Woo-hoo. We are
Alex.
I'm Vlad. We're both LA natives. I'm Savi,
Chicano.
and we both grew up in the hood, right?
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
I think
I think so.
we put in enough time to be able to say that.
I think we have, yeah. But tell us what we're doing here, Alex.
Well, we're exploring the intersection between being brown and listening to metal or rockero music.
Yeah, basically we're trying to understand why fools like metal, right?
Yeah, it's something that consumes me.
Yeah, I'm always thinking about this question.
I want to know.
Like, why do fools like metal?
When I see who's headbanging, I want to know why.
So in this episode, we will discuss canceling culture in bands. Canceling bands. You know,
Yeah.
it's tough. It's tough being a metalhead, honestly. Like if you listen to metal, it's really tough. It's a minefield out there, and a lot of bands are either neo-Nazis, racist, xenophobe, misogynistic assholes. I think that's like 90% of bands, probably, right?
Yeah, it's like those memes you see where it's like, oh, you want this? This is $10. This is $10. This is $4. Here's $5. It's like,
Yeah.
choose whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's all yours.
Yeah, it's like make a metal here. Make your ideal metal band. You have $4, and it's like $100 is like not racist. $200 is like, not sexist.
Not
misogynist.
sexist.
And then for $4 you get like tasty riffs, but they're neo Nazis.
Which, is sometimes a conversation you have to sit down and have with yourself.
Yeah, let's get into it. Can you explain what canceling is? Like,
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people listening are, maybe around our age, if not younger. Shout out to all the rucos and rucas listening to this, if you're out there, because we appreciate you. But
yeah, the old heads
yeah, all the old heads
who put us on game too.
maybe don't know about this, but I mean, if you haven't heard of cancel culture, it's a thing. And basically, you're with something, you rock with it, like you're about it, and you find out that some really bad shit happened in the past, and you're like, I can't support this anymore. It's canceled.
Problematic. Can you give us an example of something like
Some
that?
problematic shit.
Yeah.
So recently, I've been thinking about if I'm trying to cancel Liam Neeson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was wild. What he said.
Yeah,
right?
he said some real crazy shit.
No, it unprompted too.
Which is never a good move. But I'm glad that he was forthcoming. So like now I know what he's about.
Yeah. Oh, the red carpet premiere for Cold Pursuit was canceled. Damn, after he said this shit. All right, guys. So in case you don't know what happened with Liam Neeson last week, he was he got in trouble because he said that he was considering carrying out a racist revenge attack because someone close to him said she had been raped by a black person. I took that off the CNN website.
Yeah,
So it's quoting
and
him.
like more close to like his actual quote, he was, he said that after he was told that, or after he found out, that he would like walk around and like any like black man he approached or like saw coming out of a building, he was hoping would like pick a fight with him.
Yeah, quote unquote, like black bastard
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So yeah, he. I saw somebody make a meme that was like Taken, but with 3 Ks.
Oh, yo.
Liam Neeson and Taken, but with 3 Ks.
So the conversation I've been having with myself lately is like, this was straight up canceled, right? Because like for all that you've done and for all the Taken movies and whatever the fuck, that's not excusable, dude. Like that's not an okay thing. Like thank God, like nothing happened. But too, like it's not okay to go out like that and to like be wanting to do this and discriminating on just like that basis only.
Also, I think it's like a way. It's because he said it. I think he was so. What's shocking is he was so comfortable sharing something.
Yeah.
Like that. But I think it's also speaks to like white people being like, "Hey, I'm gonna pat myself on the back because I could have done something really bad. I could have killed a black person, but I didn't. Look how great I am.
Praise me, please."
Yeah, it's like what the fuck? Nah,
Yeah.
fool. Like.
So I'm like super happy that his latest movie just fucking bombed.
Yeah, great. Yeah, that's a valuable lesson. Literally valuable lesson.
And so when we talk about cancel culture, that's kind of like what we're talking about, where you're maybe learning something new about them or something you didn't know before.
Yeah.
And so like what you do in that moment, like do you keep giving these people money and like shouting them out, giving them your support, your time,
Yeah.
or do you just cut ties and be like, you know what, cool, like I will admit, Taken, dope ass movie,
Yeah.
the fantastic movie, one of the like my favorite action movies, but I can't enjoy it in the same way or like see it as just like its own little thing because it's involved with him. It's something he produced. It's something he was in.
Yeah, and the opposite end and something else is like, because this is all also calling out, like people calling out,
Yeah.
because I'm sure that's what happened after the backlash. But then, there's the opposite end is calling in, when you try to like put your homie to the side who keeps saying the N word or keep like
Yeah.
saying some sexist shit, and you're like, hey homie, like I care about you, and like stop, you gotta understand why this shit is damn like hurtful to certain people. That's the opposite, right? Calling in. But I think what's important to know is that people do deserve to be canceled because they do some flagrant ass shit,
Yeah.
where they're like that's, I don't know, man, that was kind of wild.
Too much for my taste.
Yeah, but I'm kind of, in a way, I'm like, at least he was honest. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, because this is the thing is racism in America is like still here, and it's just like more like it's not overt anymore. Before it was like straight up like we don't like black people. Now people still feel that way, but they're like,
It's the undercurrent. It goes
they
unsaid.
They just don't want to say it because
Yeah.
they've been shamed. So you know what I'm saying? Like, in a way, I'm like, does canceling like actually solve the issues, or does it just like shame people into hiding their?
I think it like shames people into hiding, because it definitely isn't something that solves the issue. Like the person's still a racist. They're still a
Yeah.
piece of shit.
Of course, and in no way am I like
Yeah.
defending this motherfucker at all.
And so-
I'm just thinking long term. Like, does it help, or what happens long term?
Yeah, so I would hope that it's a deterrent to other people.
Yeah,
So they'd be like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't go out and say racist shit, even if that's how I feel inside, because it's not good for my brand. At least that way they're
Yeah.
not even just putting it out there.
Yeah.
Right? The fact that he felt comfortable and so like forthcoming with this information, this story,
racism.tm.
it's just like, yeah, come on, dog, you can't. That's not cool. You can't be doing that. You know that's not right.
Yeah, big facts. So, how do we tie this into metal?
So, I mean, we've all had bands that I think we enjoyed and then came to learn some like very unsavory part of their past or like things that they support and believe in, and that's when you like look in yourself in the mirror and say, I can't really be listening to these people and like be that down for them when clearly they're not doing the same for like all their audience or their potential audience.
Yeah, tell us about a band that you.
Oh, easy. Life of Agony. Fuck those guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I went to a show at the Fonda, and it was Life of Agony opening up for Mudvayne.
Oh shit.
And I
Sick ass
think
fool.
there was some other opener, but I'm probably just like really messing up. Shadows Fall.
Shadows Fall. All
Okay.
right.
But at this show, and like my brother and I had listened to all of like the Life of Agony greatest hits
Yeah.
at this point. So we were kind of amped up. We're like, we're going for Mudvayne, but that's cool.
Life of Agony was
in it.
opening for them, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, cool. We get to see
What kind of band are they? Like, I've never heard. Are they like metalcore? Or?
very grungy, very slow.
Oh, okay.
And the singer has like a almost operatic
Oh,
voice,
shit.
and he just better than ever. And da-na-na-na.
So some like Roy Orbison shit.
Yeah, just really heavy instrumentation, I guess, right?
Sick ass fools.
And this was like they have some catchy songs, but I remember being in the pit with a friend, and my brother and his friend were like moving over to the like closer to the front.
Yeah.
Halfway through the set, the music stops, and like the singer's straight up like spitting on people and like pointing at them, telling like, "No, fuck you," blah blah blah.
What?
I come to find out after the concert that was like my brother and his friends and like some other people at front.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and so like apparently the singer was just like being a douche and like spitting on people in the front, and these fools like flicked them off and like spit back at him.
Oh shit.
And since then, I'm just like, dude, you're fucking canceled. Like, I don't care who you are. I don't care how heavy of a riff you can write.
Yeah.
Like,
treating-
why are you doing this at your own show?
Yeah. And see, that's kind of, this is why I think it's interesting with metal, because it's murky, right? Because like
Yeah.
what isn't off limits in metal? Like it's an extreme form of music, right? So, for example, like what you're saying, I've seen that happen. I like the lead singer for Deaf Haven.
Deaf Heaven?
I always want to say Deaf Haven. Deaf Heaven. I don't know why, man.
The E disappears, man.
Yeah, I'm fucking up. Deaf Heaven.
Yes, we'll cut that.
It's like, like a post rocky kind of black metal band, but that fool, like the lead singer, he like will spit on people too. But some people are into that.
Yeah, some people don't mind it, and like
I saw that when I saw them live. Like there was like some girls that were up front and they were waiting for that. I don't know. I'm just saying, like.
Yeah.
So like where is the line? And that's because it's kind of a weird genre, right?
It is, and I can understand. Like you can get carried away being on stage and really feeling yourself. Like you got this venue just like popping.
Yeah.
But it's not for everyone, and so you should be ready for backlash. Like, don't fucking stop the set and be like, "We're gonna kick you out for disrespecting me." Like, dude, maybe don't spit on people if you don't want them to spit on you.
That's true. That's facts right there. Consent.
Yeah.
Consent was
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, what a novel concept!
Yeah,
like, hey, bro, did you ask before you spit on me? What the fuck? Like, I shouldn't have to state it that clearly, but if you're gonna do that,
Yeah.
you can't be upset when you get spit on back.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's why, for me, Life of Agony is canceled. Like, they're okay.
They just disrespected them.
Yeah, and even if they were better, like, nah, I'm not with it.
Yeah, I feel you. We should try to write them like a strongly worded letter or something.
I mean, there's a reason they don't record albums anymore, dude.
Oh, did you destroy their career?
Fuck those guys. Yeah, I did. And we stopped the comeback.
Hey, I wanted to touch on it real quick too, also, because we were talking about this earlier. Like, there's different reasons why a band can be canceled with metal, and that could be specifically maybe because they're posers, they're Nazis most likely, neo-Nazis, or supporting, or like, what's the word, like having paraphernalia, or like just being at like dumb.
They use the
meatheads.
Iconography.
Yeah, who are just like kind of admirers of fascist ideology or symbols.
Yeah.
Symbols mostly. Racism, misogyny, or maybe just because they're writing, maybe a lesser offense to writing from a place that you like no longer, or just plainly don't agree with, So I think there's bands that fall into different places in the spectrum, because it could be really extreme, like why you're canceling someone, or it could be very like minor. Like for example, like we're Metallica. What you're saying about people, like, and I might fall into this camp because I don't really listen to them anymore.
Really? But
after like when the Black Album, I'm like, the posers, man. Or maybe they're just doing themselves, but I don't it doesn't vibe with me anymore. I'm like, I like the more
it's
the trashy stuff they had in the beginning.
Shout out to Heavy Music Memes on IG.
Oh yeah,
they got that beautiful meme. It's like, oh, when you listen to the first 5 Metallica albums, and then what does it say? Oh
yeah, it says it's that football guy's like, not gonna lie, they had us in the first half.
Yeah, because there's a certain point in Metallica's career where they like, we've spoken about this.
Yeah,
it just drops off. It's different.
Yeah,
it's not the same like high speed heavy thrash that you listen to for the first 5 albums.
And you're right. It does become more refined. Like I told you the Black Album recently. I hadn't heard it in like 10 years because I was trying to hate on something, Yeah. And I'm like, it's really good. Like, the songwriting is really strong, but it's not the same band. And I guess, you either like change or you don't with it. But I'm like, nah.
And so, part of why you would stop listening to someone or cancel them in the metal scene is that they're not offering what they were at one time for you, right? They're not meeting your sensibilities.
Yeah, for sure.
Metallica got a lot of backlash when they put out just their second album because it had Fade to Black on it, and people were saying, "Oh, you guys are sellouts. You have a slow song on your album. That's not fucking metal, bro."
That's true, yeah.
And then Metallica was like, "It's about suicide, though," and they're like, "Oh, that's kind of metal."
Yeah.
Cool. So I think they won some people back, but like at every step, right? Whether it's like an underground band signing with the label, like people sometimes are really against that. So they'd be like, no, fuck those fools, they sold out. And I think that's kind of where the thing is, where you stop associating with the band. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, and I feel for me, it's like the band's already so commercial. It's like they don't.
Yeah.
My support can go elsewhere with like another band that like
They don't need my money.
they don't really don't, and especially they're cops, you know, with the whole Napster thing.
Yeah, well, Lars.
Yeah, Lars, the fucking narcs. That was the least metal thing ever.
Yeah.
Or maybe the most.
No, well,
Because you know, there's like that whole love of like
authoritarianism. Yeah. So I mean, I can give you argument for why it's the least metal, but I'd want to hear why it's the most metal first.
Well, you know, like a lot of, just think of how like it's a really gnarly genre, because metal is for sure kind of like supposed to be like rebellious music, like punk, but it takes it to the nth degree.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, it becomes fascist because it's telling you that you're stupid, or like think of Slayer. All their lyrics are like, you know, they're always writing. I like Jeff Hanneman. How do you say his name? Jeff Hanneman, the guitarist.
Yeah.
He was saying like, oh, when I wrote Angel of Death, I wasn't saying that, you know, Joseph Goebbels was a bad guy because you're supposed to know that already. I'm like, okay, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they never really apply critical thinking to any of their stuff. They're like, oh, this could be misconstrued.
I think the argument he might be hiding behind is that, well, people should be looking at this with critical thinking when we all know that that's not always the case.
It's not. That's what I'm saying. So it becomes kind of like really authoritarianism. Damn it, I can't say that word.
Authoritarian?
Totalitarian, yeah. Because, you know, it becomes like kind of like some dictator shit. Like they're literally chanting things at you and telling you what to do or how to feel about things or how.
And I think the reason why that's so widely seen in the scene is because it's like powerful music. So you're going to want to include other themes of power that you see around you. And that's the easy way to always just go like authoritarianism, totalitarianism, where it's like the iron fist that rules over everything, and like metal's what is giving me this.
Yeah, and that's why I think Metallica, that was the least or maybe most metal thing, because it's like they're like angry that like, oh, it's like kind of like I mean, I always think like most of these metal dudes have to be libertarian or something, because they're like,
wow, you think so?
I mean, I think most of them, because they were literally, well, maybe this is not that's not libertarian, because they literally evoked the government, because they weren't into anarchy. They were like, no, you guys are stealing from us, and that's bad, and that's our property.
My profits,
yeah, and then like, we're gonna shut this down. You know what I mean? Like they came after.
And so that's why I think it's so. That's the least metal thing you can do, because it's one. It shows off his age, because you're failing to understand that these like peer-to-peer file sharing networks are basically just modern tapes. Because back in the day, I sure as hell know you weren't complaining when people were passing around your demo tape.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and maybe we could clear this up, and maybe we could add this in the beginning, just for everybody who doesn't know the whole Napster thing. Metallica, it's like, what was it, 98 or the?
Late
it was
90s.
like, you know, around, you know, the millennium. But, you know, the Metallica sued Napster because, you know, there was a lot of peer-to-peer sharing going on and downloading. So.
Yeah, and, you know, before iTunes, which I think is the dark ages for a lot of people in terms of, like, how people got music, what you would do is you would either go buy the tape or the CD, or you would fire up LimeWire or Kazaa. Or Napster.
Shout out to Kazaa.
Or Emule, whatever. We would use these programs to download music for free, and it was kind of just like, maybe you find the right thing, or maybe just someone renamed it to get you to download a fake file.
Yeah.
You know, many computers had viruses on them.
Oh, for sure.
Lars was just like, really just felt some type of way about people being able to get Metallica songs for free. It's like, no, I want my money.
Yeah. That's the least metal thing ever.
That, in my opinion.
Yeah, they should have...
And what's his band supposed to do? Like, not back him up? They're not going to kick him out of the band.
Yeah.
So what? Are you going to create tension just because you didn't back your boy up, even though he's being a dumbass?
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Just shut the fuck up and chill in your mansion. Just shut the fuck up.
Dog, you don't have to be in the United States. I know you...
Listen, this is what Iron Maiden did with their 15th studio album. They released it for free online.
Yeah, they did.
Because they were like, the kids want the music, we're going to give it to them for free. Granted, it wasn't a very good album. But,
no, but listen, they still went for it.
But yeah, Bruce Dickinson was like, fuck it. You know what? We're going to give them music for free.
Is that Book of Life?
I think it was Book of Life, yeah.
And, you know, even with Book of Life, they also released a game for phones. It's an RPG game.
Yeah,
so they're like, you know what?
Shout out to Iron Maiden.
Yeah, if you like this album, buy your game. The music in the game is our album too. So if you want to contribute, there you go, and you can have some fun while you have it.
Yeah,
So they're
exactly.
trying. They're like a lot of respect for them.
A lot of respect. Yeah, they weren't like some punk ass fools who were just like,
Yeah,
you know, they were like, nah, fuck it.
they were with it. They rolled with it,
Yeah,
and that adaptation. It's I think necessary and what leads to their longevity. That's why they're still around. You know, and they're not scared to be like,
yeah,
all right, give the album away for free. Let's see what happens.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
something Trent Reznor and like Run the Jewels and like a lot of artists have been trying to do that, and like
Yeah.
it works.
yeah. See, that's why for me, I'm always like, Metallica needs to be canceled. That alone, that's a flagrant ass. That was fucked up ethically.
It was, but
Like,
like
let me steal your music, all right?
that like makes me feel better when like I do steal that music from them. So I'm like, take that, Lars. You just cost your band a sell.
I know, right? That's
But-
why I only buy my Metallica shit secondhand.
There you go. Go to Amoeba and buy some Metallica albums.
Yeah.
But this now leads to like another aspect of it where it's critical thinking in metal,
Yeah.
right? So the Hanneman wants me to just know that Goebbels was like not a cool dude.
Yeah.
Not everyone is gonna like go into it knowing that,
Yeah.
and so I think a lot of people, whether they know it or not, have been forced to use their critical thinking when listening to metal, especially when they become like big fans of it.
Yeah. And that becomes the problem is like, because I kind of, you know, when I was younger and like not woke, TM.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, I was listening to everything. I was like, man, the more brutal, the better, man. And that when I was like 16, 17, I think that's the first time I listened to Burzum, and I was like, oh, this shit is so dope.
Yeah.
Then when I was like 18, I met my homie who was like, you know, he's a neo-Nazi, right? And I was like, what? And then I was like, realized, oh, I can't listen. I shouldn't listen to most of this shit.
Yeah.
Because I mean, people are gonna not care, like whatever, fool, doesn't matter. But it does
It does
matter.
matter.
Because then it's like we're allowing these people to say their dumb, hateful ideology. You know, it's like, nah, fuck off. Like, so you know, once you do start applying critical thinking when you listen to music, it kind of sucks because you can't listen to a lot of stuff. Like Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah.
I can't listen to. Like I loved like when I was younger, and I was like, oh cool, they're like sing about like, you know, like murder and shit. But then I realized, I'm like, why this sucks? It's like sensationalism.
Yeah.
For no good reason. They're just like, you know, bored white dudes from Florida who are like,
It's
ugh.
gore for the sake of gore.
There's
like,
no absolutely nothing to it. I mean, you know, and for it was hard for me when I was listening to them because I really like. I think they're amazing musicians, but I was like, yeah, I can't. So for me, the Cannibal Corpse is canceled. I can't. I don't listen to any Cannibal Corpse because of that. Because once you start thinking about it, you're like, is this the kind of shit I want to support?
And so for me, like I think about that also from like as a horror fan, where it's like I'm not gonna watch a movie just because it's like the goriest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And like people have that false equivalency between like, oh, if it's real super brutal and gory, then it's scary. It's like, no, that's not what we're doing here. But if a movie's like slow burn and it's like a psychological thriller, but like it made me feel some like real creepy vibes, oh, I'm there. Like sign me
see.
up for that.
Yeah, but see, I mean, you know, that's the whole thing. It's a lot of people want to sell you a cheap ticket to
Yeah, so it's
sensational shit.
just shock value for Cannibal Corpse
Shock.
in that case.
Value, yeah. That's the same thing with Cannibal Decapitation though. You were going to talk about.
That's the flip side.
That's the
I feel.
flip side of it, yeah.
Yeah. So they
Well,
use
tell if people don't know who Cattle Decapitation is, just so.
they're like a vegan metal band.
Yeah.
That's dope as hell, dude. That's so
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah.
And you know, I got introduced to them. Like this is my experience with Cattle Decapitation. I would see homies wearing like shirts from them, and I was like, yo, those album covers look brutal because it's like humans like getting led to a slaughterhouse, or like a guy being cut in the way that like beef is cut, and they
Yeah.
have like the chart, and it's
Yeah.
like, wait,
Yeah,
why? How can I be okay? Like it makes you think some shit. Like it makes
Yeah.
you rethink some views, and
Yeah,
that's
that's
why
why the critical thinking to it.
yeah, they made me do that in like their own subversive way. They're like,
Yeah,
hey,
because
fool.
they're thinking about the brutalities of like the man-made world, you know, with the
Yeah.
fucking
Like they very much look at like humanity as almost like a disease on the planet,
yeah, which is true.
you know, and that's such a brutal concept, and that's what I think is so metal to like. That's where I see the metal appeal, where it's like it's brutality, but it's done through critical thinking.
Yeah.
And so like that's cool because, like, oh, I wouldn't think twice if I just see like a picture of a cow and like all the different cuts of meat and
Yeah.
like the cow getting butchered. But I see that same scene with like a human, and all of a sudden I'm like, hey fool, we can't be just showing this around in public, dog. Like,
Yeah, and plus too, they come from like an environmental stance too. Like
Yeah.
they're like it's like like I think I heard someone say it's like environmental metal,
oh, okay,
where it's like, you know, it's kind of like it's an inconvenient truth, but metal.
in metal. Yeah, that's very accurate. But then
Yeah.
also like, you put all these things on it, and when you describe it this way, it's like, oh, they're just like little hippies in a band, and it's some of the most brutal music.
Yeah, it's true. That's facts. And see, that's kind of like that's you know, it's kind of funny because it's like when I talk about metal, sometimes I'm thinking, am I talking about capitalism? I'm like, is there any ethical consumption of metal?
Oh my gosh.
'Cause, you know, but under capitalism, of course.
I mean, there's no way you'd be able to get out from under that anyway, right?
I don't think so, man. I mean, and that's what I question all the time. I'm like, why do I like this? You know, it's brutal and it's like it sucks. Most of the time, the music is made by shitty ass white dudes.
But I think that they speak to the not the experience, but they're not scared about talking on subjects that like people normally won't touch.
Yeah,
They're just like, this happens, like people die, like there's violence.
yeah,
The-
and the whole thing is about filtering. And I think as you learn more about it or different genres, you can consume it a lot. You can be like, okay, this is where I draw the line, and then
Yeah, maybe this isn't for me.
yeah. See, that's why I always like Death, like not the punk band from the '70s, but Death, the like one of the, you know, like prominent death metal bands of the 1990s. Chuck Schuldiner, I think is his name. He rest in peace. He died of a brain tumor, a brain aneurysm. But you know, the band is awesome because they talked about a lot of social ills. You know, like they talked about like mega churches and like, you know, I mean that's a popular theme in a lot of metal music, anyways, like anti-Christianity. But like the last album is amazing. The Sound of Perseverance. He was dying and he wrote this album knowing that was going to be the last one.
Yeah.
He has a song on there called Spirit Crusher.
Yeah.
It's so good, man. And it's, you know, it's more about like the human condition. And I know this sounds kind of pretentious, but it's more about your life, you know, everything. And then, you know, what's awesome is they end that album with Painkiller. The Judas Priest cover. That's
Great, fantastic cover.
That's incredible. That's how he's like, the last song, Painkiller. You know, so I think, you know, there's a lot of I think, you know, I don't want it to sound like morbid or anything, but once you realize that there's a lot of trash ass bands out there, you can really start like refining your taste, and you can be like, these are the bands that really
and that's when you really appreciate and treasure the bands that you do like.
Yeah, like like Black Sabbath. Let's talk about them. You know, like there's a reason why they're not only just because of the riffs and like because they like innovated the genre, but like Ozzy never talked about like, you know, murdering people or anything. I mean,
No, but shit, War Pigs politicized me more than I think anything when I was a kid.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yes. Go on about it, though.
I mean, War Pigs, he's calling out. He's like, politicians hide themselves away. They only started the war. It's like their kids aren't going to war. It's me and like the homies' kids going to war. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So it's like it's like things that he picked up on, and they were like, yo, no one's calling this out. Well, we'll do it since since it's such an inconvenient truth, right?
Yeah, see, that's the shit that I do like that. That's what drew me originally into metal, like that, and Iron Maiden, how they like, it's all literary text, you know, like he's like using literature and like to underline like, kind of like the epic scope of also the human condition, or like what, you know, writing songs about like the invaders, but it's like a historical, like,
Yeah.
that's why I loved Iron Maiden. I mean, I studied history when I went to school, but I like every time I listen to Iron Maiden, I'm like, this is a history lesson.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that like people ever saw colonization as anything other than bad.
Yeah.
You know, it's like haven't you heard Run to the Hills? Like,
Yeah.
wait, why are we celebrating Manifest Destiny? Like, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
And it's like he's so blatant about it. He's like, that white man came from across the sea, dog, and like we all trying to run to the hills because we don't want to die.
Run to the hills.
It's like
my bad.
not only are they like making amazing music, they're educating me. Like, yes, dude.
Yeah, see, and that's what we were gonna talk about, sarcasm or irony in metal. I mean, I think a lot of it. I mean, I think why Iron Maiden's so good too is because I mean they did take themselves seriously, but not too much, you know, because like there's live shows like
Yeah.
kind of like goofy shit, but but you know what I mean, like in a cool way, like in a
Yeah, like it's
they understood like you have to brand yourself, you have to use that like iconography.
not everyone can, bring out a 15-foot zombie puppet and walk it around the stage, right? But my Maiden pulls it off.
I heard this story always kind of breaks my heart a little bit. It makes me sad because I heard that like when they were Iron Maiden was touring L.A. like in the early 2000s, they would bring out Eddie. That's the name of their mascot.
Yeah.
And he'd be wearing, and he's like 15, 20 feet tall, and they had him wear a Lakers jersey, and people booed them. And Bruce Dickinson was confused. He was like, "We were just trying to
Trying to shout out LA.
yeah, shout out LA," and that makes me sad, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, you guys suck. Like Bruce Dickinson's out here trying to like put
Trying
a
to
Laker.
pander. He's like, hey y'all, we're cool with it. We're cool with
put a
LA.
Laker jersey.
Yeah, respect. Eddie's a Laker fan.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, bro, cool. Fuck yeah. No, fuck the Lakers.
Yeah, like man, yo, that's why I can't have nice things.
really-
We have this 5'2" man who flew his own band on a plane here because he's a pilot, and to put on a pyrotechnic light show
Yeah.
for you, and you're
They
like,
flew across the pond for you.
Yeah.
They're so ungrateful.
and you guys are like, boo, I like the Clippers or whatever.
Yeah,
Fuck
all right,
you.
get out. But yeah, like you're saying, like they still recognize that there's an entertainment component to it.
Yeah.
And so you want to make music that like makes people think, but is also fun and like that you want to keep listening to.
Facts, yeah. So I mean, I think that that's a good way maybe to leave it off. I mean, some bands deserve to be canceled, but maybe this is something I found in this conversation where I came in being kind of negative, but I left kind of hopeful, knowing that
Sometimes they have it coming.
yeah, there's some really excellent bands out there that like for every one canceled band, there's another great one that like, deserves
definitely.
like you know who I stopped listening to, Cannibal Corpse. You know who I started listening to? Brujeria.
Sick. That's an upgrade.
Yes, and I mean I always liked Brujeria when I was younger. When I first, and it's funny because I first heard of it from my my homie Arlen. Shout out to Arlen, who put me on to them, because what Arlen said was when they were trying to learn English, or I mean sorry Spanish, they listened to Brujeria,
Oh wow.
and then I think they kind of embellished it a little bit, but they said, nah, man, Brujeria's dope anyway. Because if you haven't listened to Brujeria, they're like a punk rock metal Chicano band.
Yeah.
And their last album, I think 2017, Pocho Aslan, is fucking phenomenal. They have the opening song, it's like this sarcastic, it's like the Angel of Death.
Yeah.
It's a song about an angel of death, but it only the Angel of Death is only in the desert. And it's like,
Oh shit.
and it's like what the immigrants pray to.
Yeah.
But the angel of death is like coming to kill gringos and shit. By the way,
don't worry, I'm with y'all.
yeah, and I know, I mean, it's kind of silly, and a lot of people might be like, that's kind of like
That's racist.
that, or kind of extreme. But it's like, think of how powerful this was in the '90s, where you had like a Chicano metal band, death metal band,
Yeah.
and on their cover they had a severed head of a white dude, of Pete Wilson, no? Wasn't it Pete Wilson?
Yeah, the
then
governor of California at the time.
Yeah, they're like, fuck you, Pete Wilson.
Oh yes, dude.
So I mean, that's kind of us reclaiming it a little bit.
It's a form of protest.
It's a form of protest, and it's really ugly, and it's not for everybody. But it resonated with me because I'm like, life is absurd, and these guys kind of recognize that, and they're like,
And there's humor in that too.
there's
like,
a lot of. I find it hilarious. I think Brujeria is it's like Voltaire. I think Brujeria is Voltaire, man, and they're just like ripping like our white fucking supremacist society a new one, and like especially they're so class conscious too, because
Yeah.
a lot of their songs are also about like how the poorest of the people are are targeted.
And that's why I think there's such like widespread support for them. And before I go further, y'all ever want to scare a señora, just get a Brujeria shirt, just wear it around openly. You're gonna get looks.
I don't think I'm that ballsy.
I want to.
I can't. I mean, I've worn, like, I have my Black Dahlia shirt.
Yeah.
I had a dissection shirt,
Yes.
like that had a 666 on it, and my mom threw it away. This
No,
is when
the
I was
famous,
young,
the
yeah.
famous, yeah. the
Yeah, I
famous
think I
shirt.
mentioned this already, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I could wear a Brujeria shirt on her.
No,
I think
I definitely couldn't around my mom.
she'd be like, Vladimir.
The most I'll go and around my parents is my Holy Diver shirt.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and I don't think because it's black and white except for the Dio, which is like super bright red.
Yeah.
But I don't think they've either seen the demon on the shoulder or the priest chained up around my stomach. It's just like a blob of white and black to them. So I'm happy for that. But no, going back to Brujeria, like so many primos that I have, like at least have heard an album. And I'm like, damn, y'all really, you fuck with this? And they're like, yeah, full Brujeria, son chingones. And like, yeah, okay, I see it.
Brujeria. Maybe we could end with that. Maybe we could end with this, like, because you know how we end with giving
Awesome recommendations.
I would recommend listening to Brujeria.
Listen to some Brujeria.
Pocho Aslan. Pocho Aslan. Pocho Aslan.
That's so ridiculous.
It's ridiculous because, as you guys know, Pocho is a person of like. Does it apply to only Mexicans or no? Todos, ¿verdad? It's anybody who's of like Latin American descent who like, como dicen, machatean el lenguaje. Like
Yeah,
you don't speak Spanish or you.
Tienes el español muy quebrado. It's
machateado.
really broken. You've heard of broken English. This is broken Spanish.
It's broken. It's when you have broken Spanish. So like.
Hablas bien mocho.
Bien mocho, bien mochado, zapateado, como dice.
Ándale.
But it's kind of a derogatory word that paisas use against, like, you know, the second generation.
Oh, y'all are really Americanized now.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly. It means
yeah.
Americanized. So it's kind of funny because it's like Aslan is like the
promised land.
the promised land of the Chicanos. Like, it's like made up, but it's Pocho Aslan.
It's where supposedly the Aztecs migrated south from.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in the north. We just don't know where exactly.
That's just so hard. I love that song. But I would recommend Pocho Aslan, Brujeria's album. Anything by Brujeria, actually, you should listen to. I would highly recommend. I think this is a good topic because there's a lot of other bands that I love that I'm afraid of canceling, and maybe we can continue talking about this.
Definitely. I think this is going to be a thread that just goes through different podcasts.
Plus, it always happens too, you know?
Yeah, so we'll keep y'all updated on the cancels. For me, I think the tried and true, go listen to Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, shit.
I don't know if I've recommended them yet
officially,
so I'll burn it here. My favorite album is Battle for the City of LA.
Classic.
Wake Up, you know, bomb track.
Yeah, it's
precioso.
Do you like that better than the self-titled?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Self-titles, like all their albums are really great, y'all. Evil Empire,
true.
self-titled, like you can't really go wrong. But like look up the lyrics when you're hearing it, because
It's true.
you know, he's not really like growling them, but his flow's pretty fast sometimes.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't hurt.
And I'm glad we both recommended, after talking about canceling, we're recommending like POC metal bands, or
Fuck yeah, dude.
you know, I mean, well, Zach De La Rocha is
Cuban.
Cubano, yeah? And Tom Morello, he's just.
It's 10.
But you know, they have a
He's with it though.
They
I
have
mean,
a
he's got his bachelor's in political science from Harvard.
Hey.
So like he's well read.
Yeah. So I mean, they're POC like friendly bands. You know?
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
not
definitely.
Gonna be canceled
And,
anytime soon.
You know, if y'all want to recommend any, metal with like prominent POC members, please.
Yes.
Yeah, feel free. I'm always down, like, grip listening to El Nino and all that kind of stuff too. So yeah, like it's always appreciated. That's why I listened to POD for as long as I did. As a kid, I was like, hey, no, Sonny, that fool's from San Diego. Yeah.
Hey, but San Diego, though, I'm always sus about people from San Diego.
Well, they don't like anything north of them, so.
Oh, hot take.
I'm cool if they're cool with it.
Oh shit! Hey, see what's up with the San Diego homies? What
Come
they
fight
say.
me. No, hey, for real, but don't.
All right.
I'm a lover. Peace out, y'all.
Peace out, y'all.